Hello and welcome to the 62nd annual Dartmouth Arts Awards. Somebody just whistled. That deserves a round of applause. It's our yearly celebration of student achievement in arts and creativity. I'm Mary Lou Oleski, the Howard Gilman 44 Executive Director of the Hopkins Center, and your host for this event. As we begin our celebration, I want to pause to acknowledge that we occupy unceded lands of the Abenaki peoples. We recognize the enduring injustices faced by Indigenous peoples, and the Dartmouth's founding on this land has resulted in many losses of lives, livelihoods, traditions, and stories and histories. We honor and thank the elders, past, present, and future, who steward this land. We strive to tell inclusive stories through art, to do what we can to elevate voices that have felt silenced. Continuing in the spirit of sincere gratitude, we thank all of the many students who, for credit or for passion or both, gave their time and talent to making, admiring, and sharing their art with this community this year. You remind us that the arts give us power. It gives us power to be more creative, more innovative, more human. And during these challenging times, your efforts have helped bring us together in shared experiences that enrich and enlighten us in profound ways that touch hearts and minds. Tonight we celebrate 120 students. These awardees are celebrated with $170,000 in grant awards collectively. We thank all of the donors and families who make it possible for us to so generously acknowledge their achievements. And we especially thank all the arts faculty, Hood and Hop staff who mentored and championed the work of these awardees and all of our students. We appreciate so many of you being with us. And lastly, we're very grateful to have an esteemed keynote speaker, Mr. Taylor Mack, who's here to celebrate with us. And round of applause for Taylor. And he will join the podium at the end of our awards. And to get us started, we are especially grateful to have President Beilock here tonight to offer her congratulations. And she will be followed by Senior Associate Provost Kenya Tyson, who will immediately follow President Beilock to share comments on behalf of the Provost's office. Welcome, President Beilock.
Thank you, Mary Lou, and welcome everyone who's here tonight. It's really a joy to be here with faculty, families, friends, staff, and alumni to celebrate all the outstanding achievements in the arts. These awards have been going on for 62 years, and they really represent an ongoing commitment of Dartmouth to the arts, and I can tell you that tonight the future of the arts have never looked brighter. Of course, it's the facilities that we have in our building, but it's really the student participation, the programming, and what the students do with the faculty and staff here. I've been so impressed to see it all this year. And one of the things that I think is so amazing is that regardless of major or career path, we have so many students who are involved in the arts in different aspects of their lives. And this is actually really important to me as someone who majored in cognitive scientist and has been a scientist all my life, but spent also 19 years playing the violin and being involved in arts in different forms. It's really amazing to know that we have all these different opportunities for students and faculty to engage together. So to all of you who have been doing the work here, thank you. For our students and faculty working together, thank you. Congratulations. It's a night to celebrate and really think about what you have accomplished so far and where the arts are going here at Dartmouth. Congratulations.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Yes. We gather here at the Hood Museum right next to the construction of the new Hopkins Center for the Arts to celebrate the exceptional achievements of our talented community. My name is Kenya Tyson, and I am the Senior Associate Provost here at the college. Oh, I'll take applause for that. Thank you. And it is a pleasure to join you this evening and recognize the recipients who've continually amazed and inspired us over the past 4 years. On behalf of the Provost Office, I extend my heartfelt thanks for your brilliant artistic abilities and dedication during your time here at Dartmouth. In this moment of celebration, it's impossible not to be energized by the vibrant developments taking place just next door. The ambitious project of the new Hopkins Center is a testament to Dartmouth's unwavering commitment to the arts. I am genuinely excited to witness firsthand how this innovative space will elevate and ignite creative pursuits for generations to follow. I'm also excited to share the success of the Arts Integration Initiative, launched by the HOP and Vice Provost for Research, Dean Madden. And since 2021, a sum of $100,000 has been awarded annually to 6 faculty-led and 6 student-led projects. So you can clap for that, that's great. Yes. So these grants have helped our campus further realize the relationship between the arts and various academic disciplines and to advance faculty-student mentorship. We'll hear more about these outstanding projects later in the program, showcasing interdisciplinary collaboration among our students, faculty, and artists. I must also recognize the remarkable resilience and ingenuity exhibited by our faculty and staff who, along with many other partners, were able to find 33 alternative venues across campus, the Upper Valley and beyond. I think we can clap for that as well, yes? Witnessing the arts seamlessly woven into our community has been truly inspiring, as also a fellow musician, a 5th-generation musician myself. So please join me in giving a round of applause for all of those reasons. Insert applause. Okay, so tonight we're going to honor our students whose performances and creations have enriched our community. Thank you for your vibrant artistic spirit, which has brought joy and inspiration to all of us. Thank you for having me, and congratulations to all of tonight's awardees. And I now would like to bring Mary Lou back to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenya, and thank you to President Beilock for coming by. Just want to say we have our keynote speech, and then we have a beautiful reception. So we're going to move through these awards with intention so that we can get to celebration. And first up is Assistant Professor of Music, Cesar Alvarez.
Hello, everyone. I want to invite everyone who's going to receive a music award to come on the stage. That's what they've asked me to do. So it's a little bit of a spoiler, but come on down, and then I'm going to give you all your awards. Yay. I will say that just one thing, which is that your faculty really do spend a lot of time on these awards, and we all gather together and we talk about the achievements that you've all done over your time here, and it's kind of a little heated and a little intense, and it's kind of incredible to see and to talk about how much art making goes on here and how much incredible commitment, discipline, creativity, imagination, and collaboration goes into this. So it's a piece of paper, but it really does matter. and maybe a little money, which is helpful. All right. So the Eugene Reutemann 1943 Memorial Award. There's three. First, Chase A. Harvey, class of 25. Amy E. Norton, class of 23. Mateo Di Oyola, class of 24, who's maybe not here. Not everyone could make it. We love you still. Grace Chen is going to be the first of the McDonald Smith Prize. For the McDonald Smith Prize, also Jason Pack. And finally, for the McDonald Smith Prize, Ian A. Smith, class of 24. And then the Kunzel Awards. And these are awards that our students have applied for to do creative projects that involve music on and off campus. And here we go. The first Kunzel Award, Ramsey Ash, class of 24. Braden Baxter, class of 25. Andrew Brozak, who's in London. Woo! Grace Chen, again. Not able to be here, Tanaka Chikati, who we love. Chase Harvey, again. Hermia Huang, who is not able to be here, I think, but we'll give her a hand. Decker R. Jackson, class of 25. And Abigail Pack, who, she's right here. Julia Picker, class of 26. And Elijah Smith, class of 25, who isn't here. And then the Gerald Tracy Memorial Scholarship Prize for Piano, first place, and we have a tie, actually, if you can believe it. But one of our winners is Braden Baxter, class of 25. And finally, Benjamin Singer, class of 27. Who is not here. All right, I think we're going to take a photograph. Is that true? All right, ready? Congratulations, everyone. And I'm going to introduce Michael Ganio, Associate Professor of Theater, who will present the Theater Awards.
All right. I'd like to invite all of our students from the Department of Theater receiving awards to come down to the stage. Thank you. Obviously, we need a director. Okay, this is great. We have quite a few awards this evening to pass out. I'd like to start with the David Burney Award, and we have a number of students receiving this award tonight. Kaylee Dow. and Rowan McLean. And Alexandria Piton. And Melionette Suarez. Our next award is the George W. Schoenhut Award. And to begin, we'd like to pass this award to Lila Bozic.
Yes!
And they are sharing this award with Matt Joachim Gallagher.
Okay, Matt.
Fantastic. Okay, the Benjamin and Edna Ehrlich Award is going to Sydney Hassel.
Yay!
And it's also going to Mr. David Katz. And it's also going to Dawn Lim.
Woo!
This year's Frost Playwriting Competition Award goes to Eloise Langan. And it is also going to Addison Verrill. Unfortunately, tonight's winner of the Dodd Drama Prize, Camila Boga, could not be here with us this evening. This year, the Bentley and Williams Award is going to be shared with Robert Abel.
Yes! Yep, Robbie.
And Sydney Hassel. And also with Emma Johnson, but unfortunately she could not be here this evening.
Okay.
The Rodney Alexander Award is going to go this year to Lily Easter.
Yes!
Alice Oliveira.
Yes,
And Elle Muller. And also Dulce Silva.
Yes, Dulce! Come on now, girl.
The Clifford Gurdon Award is going to Mr. David Katz. This year, the Susan de Beauvoir Wright Award is going to go to Emma Cool. And it's also going to Ife Liu.
Yay! Ife, yay! He's not here.
And is also going to Eva Proctor.
Yay!
The Stanley Wallace Award is going to Robert Abel.
Yay!
And it's also going to Sophie Serpis.
Yay!
The Robert Nutt Award is also going to Camila Boga this evening, but she's unfortunately not with us.
She's alive.
And it's also going to Eloise Langan.
Yay!
And it's also going to Jonah Manso.
Yay!
So I just want to say thank you all. It's a real pleasure to have you as students. It's been a real pleasure knowing all of you. And thank you so much for coming to us and putting us in a place where we could teach you something. All right, moving on. I'd like to introduce from the Department of Photo.
This is a wide lens.
right, I'd like to introduce from the Department of Film and Media Studies, Associate Professor Ropika Risam.
Will the awardees for the Film and Media Studies Awards please join us at the front? It's the closest I'm ever going to get to the Oscars. Very exciting. All right, get comfortable. There's a lot of them. The Maurice H. Rapp 35 Award for Outstanding Achievement in Film and Media Studies goes to C.J. Henrich. The James Joseph Kaplan Filmmaker of the Year Award goes to Gracie B. Dickman. The John P. Wolfenden Awards in Film and Media Studies go to Malionette Suarez. And to Richard Christian Baron Beck. The Alexander Lang Memorial Writing Award for Best Original Screenplay by a Dartmouth undergraduate. These are not in order. Honorable mention goes to Gabriel Modisette. Third place to Gracie Dickman. Second place to John S. Jarrow. And best feature to Hadley B. Miller. For best pilot screenplay, honorable mention goes to Katie G. Bartolino. Honorable mention also to Kathleen H. Stimson. Congratulations. Third place to V. Kidore, not here with us today. Second place to C.J. Tebben, not here with us. And best pilot to Laurel Lee Pitts. Best short feature, honorable mention to Zhuang Zuriel Tan. Honorable mention to Griffin L. Lapham. Third place to Annabelle D. Everett. Second place to Saragdan E. Tell me how to pronounce your name so I can say it.
Saragalagami.
Saragdan
Saragalagami.
And best short to, see if you had walked slower, I would have gotten that. Best short to Faith Sarah Gutman. Please line up for your photograph. I'm pleased to introduce Tricia Tracy, Associate Professor and Chair of Studio Art.
Ooh, it's bright up here. Hi, everybody. Our first award goes to two magnificent artists. It's our POD Award, and they will work for the next year on new work with an exhibition. Oh, they all need to come up. Studio Art students. Hi. Retake. Our first award is called our Pod Award, and it goes to 2 artists who get to work on new work and have an exhibition in the Jaffe Friedi Gallery next summer, so come see it. That goes to Julia Lee and Mateo Plantes. Planeas. Come on up. I don't know who Lucy is, but you get a special note. Our next award is the David Dance 1940 Fine Art Award, and it goes to 3 seniors, Lily Gray, congratulations, Tristan McDonald, and Amla Rashingar. Our next award is the Robert Reed Prize, and it goes to 3 seniors. The first one is not here. He had to go back home to Texas. The second one, that's Paul Nichols, Annie Q, and Peyton Bond, who also is not here. The Wolfington Fine Arts Prize goes to 3 seniors, Giovanni Orta, Kamama, and Molly Rusi. The Melissa Brown Herlock Hobson 1993 award goes to a junior student, and that is Eric Siegel. Our last award is the Class of 1960 Studio Art Curatorial Fellowship. Goes to Sophie Skull, who's not here. And we got to line up for a picture. I'd like to introduce Joshua Price Cool, who is the managing director and executive producer at the Hop.
If the Hopkins Center Ensembles awardees could come on down. The Handel Society Chorus Award goes to Samuel Bonasso. The Charles S. Fleet 1953 prize goes to a Glee Club student, Wesley Liao, I think is not here. The Dartmouth Symphony Orchestra Distinguished Service Award goes to Jason Pack. Bunch of awards for the Cully Concerto competition. The best overall performance, Chase Harvey. Second place in the brass division, Caitlin Hadley, who I think also is not here. The first place winner in the brass division, Rebecca Abraham. The second place winner in the string division, Ava Rosenbaum. And the first place winner in the string division, Jason Pack. The second place winner in the woodwind division goes to Crystal Yee. And the first place winner in the woodwind division, Nathaniel Chen. And the Senior Symphonic Award goes to Ian Smith. And lastly, the Whiteley Band Spirit Award goes to Emma Wolf. Oh, let's take a picture.
I'm the other music one.
I think it's back to you, Mary Lou.
So we're making progress. 3 more piles on the table. We're all doing really well. If there are arts integration grant recipients in the room, can you come down to be recognized? And while you're coming down, I'm going to talk a little bit about this award. This is the newest of our grant awards. Provost Tyson mentioned it a little earlier in her talk. Arts Integration Initiative grants support arts-centric research, incubate interdisciplinary projects, and advance faculty-student mentorship. Funded by the Provost and administered by the HOP in collaboration with Vice Provost for Research, Dean Madden, this initiative is strongly influenced by our institutional priorities to advance creative problem-solving across all disciplines. According to the Arts Integrations Grant, regarding the Arts Integration Grant Awards, Vice Provost Madden said it best. These transdisciplinary projects demonstrate how the arts are naturally in dialogue with all areas of scholarship. The breadth of the projects underscores the many ways that artistic methodologies and practices open new lines of inquiry, reveal rich connections, and broaden the impact of research in all disciplines. In addition to 5 faculty grants awarded this year, these students are receiving Arts Integration Grant Awards as well. And some of them may not be here, but I'm going to read all of their names. Zinovia Dubrova, integrating, and the name of her project is Integrating Theater and Language Pedagogy in a Time of War. Rebecca Abram and Albert Zhang, choreographing sound, merging the creation of music and dance with the magical musical mat. Yes. Thank you. Ejim Sahin, generative music for calmness and focus. I think he's not here. Himashu Patel, evocative VR, also probably off testing something. Jack Riley, Losing Steam, a blues retrospective on Dartmouth's use of fuel oil number 6.
There you go.
Congratulations, Jack. And lastly, Jamie Liu, Painting the Lexical Gap, Translating and the Untranslatable Through Artistic Expression. And one more, Tonya Zakharkema, Ukrainian Dream, Recording Nation Building Through Photography, Short Films, and AI. Congratulations to all of these students. Next, could the awardees of Hopkins Center Awards come down to the stage? That would be the Mark Leibowitz 1977 Memorial Prize, the Christina Porter Award, the Lazarus Family Musical Award, the Robert Dance 77 Arts Initiative Award, the Davin Polk Fund for the Arts, and the Bentley Williams Film Award. The Mark Leibowitz 1977 Memorial Prize in Performing Arts goes to Reagan Padula. Congratulations, Reagan. And in theater, the Leibowitz Prize, that was for music, by the way. And in theater, the Leibowitz Prize goes to Kayla Dow. Next, we have the Christina Porter Award in the Arts for Achievement in Vocal Music. This award is given in memory of Christina Porter, class of 2006, and we're very pleased to have Christina's father here with us, Brent Porter, in the audience this afternoon. Welcome back, Brent. Brent has been with us for all 19 awards prize, and this year, the prize goes to Victor Balbino. Congratulations, Victor. The Lazarus Family Musical Award goes to four recipients. Gwendolyn Rowland, Annabelle Everett. Congratulations, Annabelle. Reagan Padula again. Yes. Congratulations. And Sylvie Benson. She's not here? Okay. Okay. The Class of 1961 Arts Initiative Fund is a fund that we look forward to awarding each year because one of the members of the Class of 61 is usually here with us, at least one. I think we have more than one. So I think Pete Blyler is in the house, and Maynard Wheeler is here to give the award to Cecilia King. The Robert Dance 77 Arts Initiative Fund goes to Adana Bullitt. There she is. Congratulations. Brian Gao. Thanks, Brian. Yuran Zhang. Kayu Lee? Kayu Lee? Joyce? Yeah, Joyce. Congratulations, Joyce. And now the Davin Polk Fund for the Arts. This fund is a fund that's available for creative investment in projects and furthering careers. So I always love giving this award out because we know that people are moving forward. The Davin Polk Fund for the Arts goes to Theodore Castellani. Reagan Padula. Congratulations. Sylvie Benson, who I know is not here. And Surag Algami. And Brian Gao has also gotten the Polk Award. along with Yuan Jiang and Joyce Lee. This is a joint project between these three. And lastly, the Warner Bentley and Henry Williams Film Fellowship goes to Sasha Agenor. Sasha's here, not here. Okay, so we're going to take a picture. The last stack. Can I have all the Hyman Rosenthal winners come down front? The Marcus Hyman Rosenthal Achievement Awards were established in 1962 and honor students who have distinguished themselves as passionate visionaries, creative problem solvers, and skilled collaborators in service of their various disciplines and creative pursuits. Did everybody wave back to all the people that they wanted to wave back to? It's a big award. You should be excited. Okay, so the Hyman Rosenthal Award for Arts Administration goes to, it's a tie, goes to two recipients, C.J. Henrik and Valeria Quintero. The Film and Media Studies Prize goes to Will Tarnowski. For music, Ramsey Ash. Studio art, Paul Nichols, who we know is not with us today, but loved, yes. In theater, Dulcecilla Silva. Just get it out, come on. For dance ensemble, Paulina Chesnakova. For instrumental ensemble, we have a tie, Jason Pack and Matteo Ayola. I'll find your other certificate, it's in here, okay. And ensemble, vocal, for vocal nomination, Colby Lish. Here you go, Colby, congratulations. And for the jewelry workshop, Theodore Castellano. Okay, so this is the last award. And this award is always oh, I gotta take a picture, right. So this is the last award, and may I have all of the graduating students stay on stage, and then everybody else can take your seats. So just stay up there. This is the last award, and it's the only award that is not pre-announced. So this is the Sudler Prize. And the Sudler Prize was endowed by the late Louis Sudler, and it's to be awarded to a student each year that has made an indelible mark on Dartmouth through creative and performing arts. The Sudler Prize awardees are tenacious, using their limitless imaginations to create magical interdisciplinary work. With agreement from Samuel Rosenthal, the Hyman Rosenthal Prize, if you're following along, the Sudler Prize is awarded to one of the Hyman Rosenthal awardees each year. In recognition of the extraordinary commitment, come on, generosity of spirit, and inspiring creativity shared by all of our Hyman Rosenthal recipients, understanding that members of this graduating class arrived at Dartmouth without graduation or prom, began their artistic work in tents, were welcomed back into a building spaced 6 feet apart and made art, and persevered through the closure of the construction as well as chaotic circumstances of our time. I am happy to announce that there is a 9-way tie. Each of you will receive an additional $2,000 with your prize. And they are, yes, you have to come and get the certificate now. Okay, and they are CJ, Henrik, okay, there you go. Wait a minute. Okay. Jason Pack. Mateo Ayola. Congratulations, Mateo. Paul Nichols, who's not here. Paulina Chesnakova. Congratulations. Ramsey Ash. Congratulations, Ramsey. Theodore Castellani. Valeria Quintero. You're welcome. And Will Tarnowski. Let's give them all a real big round of applause. Okay. This is it. This is the time we've been waiting for. Although that was pretty great, Taylor. I mean, you got a hard act to follow here. Tyler Mack, our keynote speaker, is an incomparable theater artist unveiling queer histories and joy that builds community across boundaries. Taylor Mack is a MacArthur genius, Pulitzer Prize finalist, Tony nominee for Best Play, the only American to win the prestigious International Ibsen Award, and so much more. These are just a few of the headlines in his bio, which offers a much more complete list. If Taylor's bio were a word cloud, phrases that might pop with prominence are joyous epic, luxuriant provocative spectacle, clouds of glitter, gift to the queer canon, just to name a few. And I'm so proud to say that Taylor's no stranger to Dartmouth. Taylor's been a frequent participant in our New York Theater Workshop collaborations, including the workshop of Broadway hit musical Hadestown. And in September 2015, Taylor was in residence at the Hop during early development of the epic and beloved show, A 24-Decade History of Popular Music. Yeah, you can applaud that. Absolutely. The residency included performing 1776 to 1806, the first 3 decades of the cycle. Always interested in community, Taylor invited a group of Upper Valley knitters to be on stage in rocking chairs, knitting throughout the whole show, 3 hours long, I understand, as a kind of Greek chorus. So lovely. Was anybody one of the knitters? Anybody here one of the knitters? We have a knitter! Yay! You have a reunion after. That's amazing. In December 2020, Taylor brought light into our lives with Holiday Sauce Pandemic, an online celebration of the holiday in all their dysfunction that the Hop actually helped commission. And more recently, the Hop became a Bark hero supporting Taylor's latest project, the stage extravaganza, Bark of Millions. And last night, Taylor generously joined us for a screening of the HBO documentary, Taylor Mack's 24-Decade of the History of Popular Music. If you missed the screening, you can watch it on HBO, and I encourage you all to take time to do it. It's really a great film. While on campus in 2015, you were quoted giving advice to a student. You said, yeah, it's a little bit. Get away from the idea that an artist is someone you have to approve of. We worship nouns too much. We should focus more on verbs. Taylor, I hope you can see from today that our students took your advice to heart and are all about action and focus on verbs. We're so honored to have you with us today, Taylor. Please welcome Taylor Mack.
Hi. Let's see if I can. I feel like I should. There's been clapping for an hour. I feel like I should teach you what the Radical Fairies do. There's a Radical Fairy commune not too far from here in Vermont, and when they like something, they hiss. So it sounds like there's lots of gay snakes in the audience. But I really like that because what it does is it always makes me feel like I don't know if people like it or they don't like it, right? Because sometimes hissing people associate with that they don't like that, you know. And so it always makes me feel like I'm moving away from capitalism. So please feel free. If you want to, you can hiss this evening at anything you hear, and you can also cheer and applaud as well. What are we doing? There were a lot of awards. And I think the ritual of awards is pretty absurd. And it's wonderful. I mean, every year for 62 years, this college has gotten together to highlight incredible engagement in art, right? That happened through the year. And every year, you participate in this ritual of remembering the good stuff. And that's pretty beautiful. It's also absurd because, as we know, some of the best things that happened this year were not seen by anyone who was responsible for giving out the awards. That is also true, right? And that's just what happens. That's just what happens. But congratulations anyways. And, I've lost my fair share of awards, and I was watching some of the people, who got honorable mention, and I was feeling for you. Because you're like, yay! And it's good, it's a wonderful thing, but I want you to know, for the two people that didn't win anything tonight, I want you to know, sometimes the best award is not getting one. Right? Because that's the moment that spurs you on, right? The losers may be on the path to something incredible, right? So please just acknowledge that. Sometimes it's hard to be seen in the world. And so you have to do what my friend Jay Harrison G says. I'm working with Jay right now on a piece, and they just won a Tony. They're at the moment where they're like being seen by everyone. Everywhere we go in Chicago, we go to all these like musical theater bars, right? So every time we walk in, everyone's like, royalty's here, and they flock to Jay. But Jay spent a lot of years not being seen, right? Because they're genderqueer, and it's a little hard to be a genderqueer in this industry. Surprising. You wouldn't think it would be true, but it's true. So I am a unicorn in this industry. There's like nobody like me. You would think, what? Why has it taken so long? I was just looking at all these kids, students, young people, standing up here. I was like, there's so many queers. It was really like, when I was in the theater department in college, my first year in college, I was the only queer. Things have changed. Thank you. Please coming out. Please encourage everyone to come out. At any rate, it's very moving. So what was I talking about? Jay, my friend Jay Harrison G. Jay, they say, see yourself to free yourself. Right? Oh, it's such a deep concept, because really, if we're worried so much that we want everyone else to see us in order to do something in the world, we're actually never being seen. Take it home, think about it. So really, so you have to see yourself to free yourself, and it sounds like that's what you guys are slowly starting to do in your lives, and I just want to give you props for that. Even though praise and blame, this is the best award I ever got, was some advice from Quentin Crisp. Quentin Crisp was one of the great dandies of world history. And Quentin lived in the East Village in New York City. And if you wanted to have a conversation with Quentin, you called Quentin up. His number was in the phone book, and you could take him out to lunch, and that's how he ate every day. Somebody new would call him up and take him out to lunch. See, you can invent a new way of eating. And they would take him out to lunch, and he would tell them stories, and they could ask him questions. And so I took him out to lunch one time. And he said to me, Taylor, find out who you are without praise or blame, and be it. What does that mean? Your mom might be like, you're such a good singer. Doesn't mean anything, right? Your arch nemesis might say to you, or someone on social media might say, you're a bad singer. Doesn't mean anything, right? Are you a singer? If you are, go be it, right? Find out who you are without praise or blame, and go be it. So that's my award to you. I'm giving you an award of this advice. Here's some more advice. Art is action. Art is action. Art is action. Art is a verb, even though it's a noun, right? So it's a noun like a human is a noun. A human is a noun. But what happens when a human is no longer in action? It's dead. It's now a corpse, right? That's like art. Art is a verb. The great actors in the room, I love how the theater department was like the loudest in the entire room. It's just like... Right, so, but all good actors know you don't play the result, you play the action, right? You play trying to get something, you want something. Your lover's across the street, there's traffic in the way, you're trying to get to your lover. You go, I gotta get to my lover, I gotta get, and you can't get to the lover because the Mack trucks keep going by, and you haven't seen them in a year, and it's really emotional, and then you start to cry because you can't get to them, and you want to get to them. You don't ever play your emotion on the stage, you play the action on the stage, right? And that is what what all art is. If you do a painting, it sits on a wall. Yes, that's true. It doesn't move, but the viewer moves. The viewer, their relationship to the art is always changing. So art is action, art is doing. Please take that with you into the world as you make things, right? On Broadway, they have this horrible saying. They say, "Is the show frozen yet?" And what they mean is, it's opened, and you can't ever change anything because it is opened, and equity has decided that there's no more changing, and all the legal paperwork has decided that there's no more changing. That is death to art. Never freeze your art. Always keep your art alive, right? Then otherwise, it's not art. Then it's just a product that you're selling. All right. Here's some other things, little awards. This is my drag mother told me this one. We don't care what other people think about us. We only care what we think of other people. And what she meant by that is people can say they don't love us, people can hate on us, people can want to put us in jail for reading stories to children in drag, whatever. It doesn't matter what they think about us. It only matters what we think of them and ourselves, right? And that doesn't mean that we can hate, they don't like me, I don't like them. And that doesn't mean, it means that they can hate us and we can love them, right? That also is what it means. That's an award I give you. Here's another one. Learn how to separate the anxiety of others from the truth, right? Everybody is going to have anxiety who works with you. It's not necessarily the truth of what you're working on. Right? It's not the action. The action is the truth. The anxiety is something that people pile on because of their historical pain. The anxiety is something about the future. It is not about this moment right now. So learn. Be like, oh, that person's very anxious right now. They're worried. They want me to cut this thing. I don't think I should cut this thing because I think the action is in this thing. But they're very anxious. They keep on me about cutting it. Oh, that's their anxiety. Please learn that. It's going to save you so much anxiety. Yeah? Okay. Here's another thing. This is also from my drag mother. Normal is a setting on the dryer. Right? Okay, I'll leave you with that. I don't need to explain it. Win by losing. Win by losing. I kind of already went into that, but I want to tell a little story, so I'm going on. They always tell me 10 minutes, and it's always like 24 hours. So here's some more of it. Here's another award. Go on longer than you think you're supposed to. There's always something deeper on the other side of it, right? So just go on. You write yourself a 10-minute play, and you're like, I'm done. Just see what happens if it's 20 minutes. Just see. It might be better. At some point in your life, you're going to have to learn how to edit, but don't do it now. Now is not the time. Go, 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 go. You got all your 30s to learn how to edit. So, win by losing. I'll tell you a story. So I'm sitting on the beach in Australia. I'm having a really good time with my friend. We're on the beach, two queens on the beach. And some these toxic masculinity guys sit down behind us, and they start, shouting homophobic stuff to us. And my friend was like, I'm gonna tell them what's up, and I said, let's actually, there's 5 of them, there's 2 of us. I don't really feel like having to deal with physical trauma for the rest of my life. So let's take our little blankets, let's go down over to this side of the beach and have a better time down over there. So we did. That was called winning by losing. Right? We lost a little fight with them, but actually we were the winners because we wanted them to have pretty good lives, right? And they have to live with themselves, right? So find a workaround, that's all I'm saying, for everything you do. This is really important, and I'm glad most of your parents are in the house, because the thing you want when you're this age, when you're 21 or however old you all are, the thing you want when you're 21 and just graduating from college is not necessarily the thing you'll want when you're 40. Oh, right? So please hold that when you turn 40. Be like, that thing I was chasing, that thing I really wanted when I was 21, is it actually what I want right now? Just reconnect with yourself ever so often and just see, right? Just because your parents helped you pay for college and went into debt, or just because you have a lot of debt doesn't mean it has to pay off, right? That's somebody else's idea. Paying off is that you have a good life. paying off his debt, you have a good life. That doesn't mean you're all not going to be artists. Go be artists. Commit to it. Be creative artists for the rest of your life. My mother, she used to say, it's ridiculous. She ran an art school for kids. And she used to say, it's ridiculous to think you couldn't make your living as an artist because we live in a visual world. Of course you can make a living as an artist. It's everything around you is art. And so yes, you can do it, absolutely. Here's what I say to theater artists, because there's a saying, you can either make a killing or you can't make a living, you know? And what I say is, yes, you can make a living, but maybe fall in love with verbs more than you fall in love with nouns. I don't mean people, right? I don't mean people, fall in love with people, but maybe fall in love with doing something more than you fall in love with the fancy car, right? Then you can make a living. Then you can make choices. You can make artistic choices. You don't have to compromise your choices in an ugly capitalistic way, in a way that hurts your heart, if you decide that you don't need all of the shit. All right. So, all right. Here's something. Okay, this is the last one. This is just the last one. And then you come up with your own for other people. I noticed when you were all coming up on stage, and it was very, very sweet, and you didn't do anything wrong. Nothing ever wrong happens on stage. Nothing ever wrong. It's just an opportunity for considering, right? It's just an opportunity for perpetual consideration. So nothing wrong ever happens on a stage. It's the greatest thing ever, right? But this is what you all did. Fuck that shit. Right? So this is what Mercedes Ruehl told me. Mercedes Ruehl said, an artist turns towards the sun. An artist is a flower, you turn towards the sun. The sun is the audience, right? So when you're playing that really difficult part on the violin, you don't go like this. You go, it's difficult, right? You show it, right? So this is the story for that. I was really poor in my 20s. I didn't know how I was going to pay. I was in my 20s and 30s. I didn't know how I was going to pay my rent. I didn't know how I was going to eat that week. At that point, I was making money from performing in clubs. I'd get like $50 here, $50 there, but I didn't have any gigs that week. So I was like, I don't know how I'm going to eat. And I saw that there was a drag queen competition night happening at this horrible bar called Splash Bar, which, whatever. It was like a lot of like muscle guys with their shirts off, you know. Nothing wrong with that, but you know. And, but I was like, oh God, and I hate drag queen competitions. You know, I don't like it when you take people that are under the culture and you make them compete against each other in order to win money. I just, like, there's something, like, weird about it. There's something, like, it doesn't sit, but I needed to eat that week. So I went to the drag queen competition, and I was like, most of the drag queens, they all lip sync, and I was like, and I sing, and I'm a really good singer, you know, and at that point, I was a better singer than I am now, and I was hitting the high C's, and I was like, I'm just gonna win that $100 prize. I'm gonna get some groceries, right? And so I go to the bar, and I do my number, and the audience, they liked it, you know, they were like, yeah, okay, and I was like, oh. And then my friend Juliette Lesmuse, she was there also trying to get the $100 so she could eat. And she's a burlesque performer, and she did this amazing number where she did a striptease, but she's like a performance art burlesque performer, so it was really feminist and just kick-ass, and she was doing all these high kicks and flips, and she lip-synced with her vagina, but it was kind of profound and deep, especially in a gay bar where all the gays are like, oh, you know, and then you know, she was like, it was just fierce. So, and they loved her more than they loved me, and they were like, yay! And I thought, oh God, Julie's getting the $100. I'm not gonna eat this week. I'm gonna have to go over to Julie's to eat. And then some queen got up there after Julie and lip-synced badly, did not memorize her words to that song, you know, my pussy and my crack, right? So, like, how do you lip-sync badly to that song, right? She was like, she couldn't even remember my pussy and my crack. So, but lip-synced badly. But at a certain point, she took her hands and she put them in her mouth and she pulled out her dentures and she had 3 teeth. And the audience went insane. And Julia and I, we went insane. Everyone was screaming our freaking guts out because it was so incredible. She was so brave. She showed her vulnerability. She showed her pain. She showed her history. She showed us what real bravery was, right? And she showed us her humanity. And everyone responded. And she won the $100, right? So it taught me something. I learned something that night. And the thing I learned is that virtuosity, everything that you've done all this time at school to learn your craft and your skill and your skill and your craft and practice your scales, all of that is great. Virtuosity is for the hopeful, but perfection is for assholes.
Thank you, Taylor. Give it up for Taylor Mack. One more shout out. Yes, we were in 33 locations. Give it up for the HOP production team. Thank you all for coming. It's time to party out in the Nürburgring Forum. Enjoy yourselves and congratulations, everyone.